Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, good night, depending on where you are in the world. This is Gloria White, and I'm coming to you from Utah, USA. It's nighttime here. I'm not sure what time it is, but when the sun starts going down early at 8 o'clock, it feels like it's midnight. So that's kind of how I'm feeling right now, like it's midnight. I hope everybody had a blessed day. I hope you've had joy and happiness in your day. I hope you've felt blessed and loved and cared for. And I hope you've given thanks. And I hope you're praying for our country and praying that God's will be done. And recognize how much He loves us. And this is such a cool book, the book of Ecclesiastes, because Solomon is like questioning everything. It's almost like the philosopher Descartes, who examines everything and eliminates everything until there's just like nothing left. I don't know if anybody knows anything about Descartes, but also in the Thai thought, where you examine everything and you discount everything until there's like nothing left. And I think that's the path that Solomon is on, and recognizing that the only thing that matters is God, and that, that the blessings that you have are coming from God. So here, let's do chapter 2. I could go on forever, you know me. I said in mine heart, go to now, I will prove or test thee with mirth or gladness. Therefore enjoy pleasure. And behold, this also is vanity or futility. Then I said of laughter, it is mad, and of mirth, what doeth it? Or what does it accomplish? I sought in mine heart to give myself, or to how to gratify my flesh with wine, yet acquainting my heart with wisdom. So he's like doing a test drinking wine to see what happens, and to lay hold on folly, till I might see what was that good for sons of men, which they should do under the heaven all the days of their life. I made me great works. I builded me houses, I planted me vineyards, I made me gardens and orchards, and I planted trees in them of all kinds of fruit. I made me pools of water, to water therewith the wood that bringeth forth trees. Now, he's created an irrigation system to water all these trees and orchards and gardens and everything that he's planted. Then he says, I got me servants and maidens, or male and female servants, and had servants born in my house. So his servants had children. Also I had great possessions of great and small cattle above all that were in Jerusalem before me, or herds and flocks more than all of Jerusalem before him. I gathered me also silver and gold, and the peculiar or special treasure of kings and of the provinces. I gat or acquired men singers and women singers, and the delights of the sons of men as musical instruments, and that of all sorts. So I was great, and increased or excelled more than all that were before me in Jerusalem. Also my wisdom remained with me. And whatsoever mine eyes desired, I kept not from me, or not kept from them. I withheld not my heart from any joy or any pleasure. For my heart rejoiced in all my labor, and this was my portion, or my reward of all my labor. Then I looked on all the works that my hands had wrought, and on the labor that I had labored or toiled to do. And behold, all was vanity, and vexation of spirit, or grasping at the wind. And there was no profit under the sun. And I turned myself to behold wisdom, and madness, and folly. For what can the man do that cometh after the king? Even that which hath already been done. So he's like, what more could they do than what I've done? How could, they improve? Then I saw that wisdom exceedeth folly, as far as light exceedeth darkness. The wise man's eyes are in his head, but the fool walketh in darkness. And I myself perceived also that one event happeneth to them all. Then said I in my heart, as it happeneth to the fool, so it happeneth even to me. And why was I then more wise? Then I said in my heart, this is also vanity. In other words, a wise man and a fool both, come to the same end, death. They both die. And then I said in my heart that this also is futility. For there is no remembrance of the wise more than of the fool forever. Seeing that which now is in the days to come, that are days to come shall all be forgotten. And how doeth the wise man? As the fool. So I said, no matter what they do, or how wise they are, or how foolish they are, they both die. Therefore I hated life, because the work that is wrought under the sun is grievous unto me, for all is vanity and vexation of spirit, for futility and grasping at the wind. Yea, I hated all my labor which I had taken under the sun, or toiled for, because I should leave it unto the man that shall be after me. And who knoweth whether he shall be a wise man or a fool? Yet shall he have rule over all my labor wherein I have labored, and wherewith I have showed myself wise under the sun. This is also vanity. He's saying, why am I doing all this work? I'm just going to leave it, and what's going to come of it after me? What man is going to inherit my labor? So why am I doing all this? Therefore I went about to cause my heart to despair of all the labor which I took under the sun, or toiled for. For there is a man whose labor is in wisdom, or with wisdom, and in knowledge, and in equity, or with skill. Yet a man that hath not labored therein, shall he leave it for his portion, his inheritance, his heritage. This also is vanity and a great evil. Sometimes when I'm reading this book, I think, Solomon was insane. I can't help but think the man was insane. But I guess that's what great wisdom in a man looks like. Insanity. Because how can anyone else, with the wisdom that God would give to Solomon, because when Solomon was brought to be the king, and his main concern was how would he have the wisdom to rule all these people. What did he know? He was still very young. And he asked God, because God said, what do you want? And he said, I want wisdom enough to rule these people. And so God said, well, because you didn't ask me for a long life or tons of money, I'm going to give it all to you. I'm going to give you everything and a lot of wisdom. And now this is what he does with this wisdom. Besides doing all the things that he did, he's constantly, it's like he's torturing himself with, what's the point? Well, we know what the point is. We labor for our children, for the next generation, so that what we have done and made, that they can inherit it and make their lives better. But Solomon's saying, what difference does it make if you're wise or a fool? Because we're all going to die. The poor guy, I mean, it seems like he was just tortured in his mind every minute. For all his days are sorrows, and his travail are his striving grief. Yea, his heart taketh not rest in the night. Or no, excuse me, let me go back and do that again. For all his days are sorrows, and his travail are grievous task. Yea, his heart taketh not rest in the night, even in the night. And this is also vanity or futility. There is nothing better for a man than that he should eat and drink, and that he should make his soul enjoy good in his labor. This also I saw, that it was from the hand of God. So it's a blessing to be able to work and toil and to provide things for yourself and even leave it for your family. And for who can eat, and who else has hastened or have enjoyment hereunto more than I. For God giveth to a man that is good in his sight, or who is good in his sight, wisdom and knowledge, and joy. But to the sinner he giveth travail, or the task of gathering and collecting, to gather and to heap up, that he may give to him that is good before God. This also is vanity and vexation of spirit, or futility and grasping of the wind. But let me read that last part again. For God giveth to a man that is good in his sight wisdom and knowledge and joy, but to the sinner he giveth grievous task, to gather and to heap up, that he may give to him that is good before God. This is also vanity and the vexation of the spirit. So, like I said, sometimes I think Solomon drove himself nuts or was insane. He was so wise that he couldn't see the purpose in anything other than it was a gift from God, or because God willed it. So, although Solomon had everything under the sun that his heart desired, or that his eyes wanted, he didn't keep it from himself. He was still thinking, what's the whole reason? What's the point of this? And I think that we know what the purpose of it is, because we toil and work to raise our children, and we grow gardens and plant trees and to feed ourselves and our children, and the trees will feed generations. It's not just about yourself, which I think sometimes Solomon is looking at everything from his point of view, and from his point of view, it looks like, what am I doing this for? It's all futility and the vexation of the spirit. But we know better. And we're not as wise, I guess, as Solomon was. I mean, because God blessed him richly with wisdom. And this, I guess, is what comes of a mind full of wisdom, right? Great knowledge. Even though I am, my IQ was 149 before I got West Nile virus. Now it's like 129, and sometimes I feel dumber than a rock, but um, it is hard sometimes for me to look at things at face value. I am always looking in deeper and thinking, steps ahead all the time. My mind is always doing that. It's always like 3 steps ahead of where I'm physically at. My mind is progressing. And it's weird because I can see people doing something and I think to myself, wow, if they did it this way, it would work out so quick and it would be so much more productive and they'd get so much more done with their time. But anyway, that's just me. That's how my brain works. It's always like 3 steps ahead and looking for anything that could happen that I could prevent from being something bad happening, whether it be to myself or to somebody else. So I guess maybe maybe I'm in the same boat as Solomon in that regard. But I think it's not as easy being a genius as people think it is. That, oh, he's a genius. Yeah, but what comes with all that? Anyway, as always, I love you.